Alright, so we're going to leave Mormon Flat here, head back up the dirt road the way we came down, get back on the highway, and we're going to take that up to the Big Mountain Pass. Now, I'm going to leave the driving segment out on this because pretty good little drive through here. But if you go in the fall, this is a really pretty drive coming up through here. So our next stop will be Big Mountain Pass, and we'll catch the trail again up here. I forgot to mention about the Donners camp in this area. I'm not 100% sure this is the area where they camped. They might have camped down here. If you read his journal, James Reed's journal, it says they're still on Bashman Creek, which is this down through here. Proceeded up the creek about 1 mile, then turned to the right hand up a narrow valley to Reed's Gap, and encamped about 1 mile from the mouth, making this day 2 spring of water. Now, Mr. Rawson on his website mentions that this camp is in present Little Immigration Canyon, which is this canyon going up through here. Reed's Gap is a low point on the Wasatch crest south of the present Big Mountain. I'm not 100% sure if they're talking this area, but to me it would be this area because this is about a mile from where they turned right. But they were here from the 14th to the 17th as they cut this new road up here to Big Mountain. Alright, maybe we can hear this. Wind's blowing pretty heavy up here. This is Big Mountain Pass, and they have a T-rail here. Hastings Cutoff, Big Mountain Pass. We can read that. And should be right in here. Yep, right there about where you're at, I think, is where the wagons went down. Yeah, so I think they kind of went down right here, and they kind of turned, meandered down through there. This is where wagons went down Big Mountain, right here. This is what they would have seen, Salt Lake City Valley, right out there. You can see it. The wind is really bad. Go see what all this other stuff is. On top of a big mountain, they got a little thing here. On 19th July 1847, scouts Orson Pratt and John Brown climbed the mountain and became the first Latter-day Saints to see the Salt Lake Valley. Oh, and okay, the ill-fated Donner Party blazed the original trail 1 year earlier. They spent 13 days cutting the trail from present-day Hennifer into the valley. That delay proved disastrous later on when the party was caught in a severe winter storm in the Sierra Nevada mountains. By South Davis. This is a mountain bike hiking trail. Mormon Pioneer Trail. So this is mountain summit. Alright, so we think that they came up right through here, because that's the trail, the new trail, which is supposed to follow it. We think they came up right through here and just shot straight across to over there. So if you're taking the hiking biking from that Mormon Flat camp, this is where you'll come out, right here. And you'll just shoot across the parking lot and continue down the mountain. So we're going to be leaving the big mountain summit here, following the road down, the highway down through here. The trail's going to actually cross the road a few times. Right here for this marker, I'll actually slow down the video here, and you can actually look up through there and see where they came down the hill. But the trail will be pretty much paralleling this road, and then actually here it crosses again. There is a place there to park, and we actually got out there and walked a little bit of that recreation trail, because it is right on the old Pioneer Trail. Then you have the Aspen Grove, which will be after that. Then a little bit further down, you'll have the Little Dell Reservoir, some kiosks there that you can read about this area. So now we're at another one of the crossings. We've come off Big Mountain. There was a place on up, just at the foot of Big Mountain up there, that you could see where the scars, where they came down at. And I'm gonna cross this if I don't get hit in the process. So this is, they came down to this actual trail right there. You see the sign. Definitely a mountain biking trail and hiking trail. Teresa wouldn't liked it. It's pretty rocky looking up through here, but they came down right through here. I'm assuming I don't know if maybe this ditch was created by wagons coming down and it's just eroded over the years. I mean, that could be it. I don't know if that's the creek or if they actually just came down through here somehow. I don't see them fitting wagons in through here, but who knows? I don't know. But they did come down right through here. And they shot straight across over to there. And this is what it all looks like. Run! Don't get hit! around here. They came down right across here, and you can see the California Mormon trail signs. And they headed down through there. Not sure which way, but I do see the trail, the modern trail, kind of hairpins back there and goes down. Might walk down here just a little bit. This looks like a fun trail to ride, especially coming this way. I wouldn't mind doing it. But there's the creek down there, so I'm assuming they come down through here. But look at these rocks and things they would have had to move out of the way. Stuff like that. Having to cut these trees like this just to get their wagons down in here. It's crazy, ain't it? And then here's the creek right here. And the modern trail just keeps going that way. And I'm not really sure where the wagon trail went, but it came through here somewhere. Maybe over there on the other side of the creek. So we're at the Quaking Asp Grove, and the trail is actually down there. You can't really see it. It's down in that gorge, and it kind of would have come down through there into this area, I think. This was an area where they camped, but it wasn't a preferred camping place because it was much too narrow for a big camp group. They usually went a few more miles down for big camping, better foraging, and where that's going to be our next stop. An alligator. Oh, yeah, it does. That's the alligator rock. We just named this rock Alligator Rock. That's the Quaking Alligator Rock. In case anybody comes by in the future. Okay, this is at the Dale Park Reservoir. This area right in front of us is one of the areas where they liked camping because it was big and open and plenty of foraging. This is also part of the bike hike trail. And you can get in here for free as long as you park on this side. If you try to go on that side over there, it's going to cost you. But yeah, this was where the big camp was. So they came down. I don't know how well you can see. There's like a gorge kind of coming down through there, and you can kind of see how they would have come in here. And then the rest of the trail is actually under this reservoir. But kind of going right through there is the way they're headed. So there was a Pony Express station kind of back up in there too. Not really sure where. They're not even really sure, but there was a Pony Express station back in there. And that's what this place looks like. So here at the Little Dale Reservoir, the Donners camped from August 18th to August 20th while they were building a road down through here. Some sources say that they camped up here above the reservoir, and I've read some places where they say they camped down here below the dam. So it was in this area. What had happened was when James Reed and the two other gentlemen went to find Hastings, Reed came back earlier than the other two did. All this time, those two guys have not been with the Donner party. So they presumed them to be lost, and a group of guys went out looking for these other two guys, and they actually found them down here in this canyon, which Interstate 80 now goes through. And when these two gentlemen got back to the camp, they basically told the Donners that you don't want to go the way we just came up. Said, there ain't no way you're going to make it. So for the third time, the Donners have to abort the canyon they're going down, go up over the mountains, and jump over to a new canyon. So we're going to be leaving the Little Dale Reservoir, heading up this road here. I think this is called Immigration Canyon Road. Going to Little Mountain Summit. We'll be stopping at this trail crossing here. And over here at the Brigham Young's last camp. So that Dale Reservoir is just over that little hump where the motorcycle is now. And we've turned off of Highway 65, which is continuing that way, on that way. See Interstate I-80 down there, I believe it is. Yep. And we're now on Immigration Canyon Road. So the Donners would have camped down there somewhere around that Dale Reservoir while they cut this trail. And so the Donners, I think, spent like 4 days here cutting this trail up through this canyon. So they would have been in stuff like this. All right, we are now at Little Mountain Summit. This is the last summit in the Wasatch Mountains. along the Pioneer Trail. From this point, the trail descends northwest until it reaches Immigration Creek. As William Clayton's Immigrant's Guide warns, the descent is very steep all the way. The Donner Party passed over this summer, August 21st, 1846, and the Mormons on July 21st, 1847. Alright, you were asking about that. The Donners came through here on August 21st. Same old Zion, road to Zion. So, not really sure how they got up here. But they found out that they couldn't keep going down that canyon because it was too steep or too narrow. So they camped back that way a little bit, as I was saying earlier. And they cut a new road up over this mountain, Little Mountain, and they came through here somewhere. I'm not really sure which way they went from here. So we found where they came up from. So right, I don't know, it's hard to see, but there's a white marker right there. And there are a few more markers following along. They kind of went along the edge, or the, kind of hard to tell you how they went, but they kind of went right along through there. So I think they came up right along through there from that water. They came along that ridge, so they'd been on this side of the highway, in between the two highways, and then diagonally across the road, so it'd be about where that silver car is. So from coming from that side, where it's just crossing the highway, you come diagonally across, and you can see there's another marker, like right in there is another marker. So they would have taken off right through there. So this is where they would have been. They would have been seeing this stuff. Minus the houses down there. They probably would have liked to have seen those houses. Can't really see any swells because of the grass. It makes it hard. But they came down. Just almost makes me wonder if that's not how this ditch got created right here, going down through there from them dragging their wagons down. You can kind of see where it kind of dips right there. So if you plan on stopping at this trail crossing after Little Mountain Summit, make sure you slow down after that first hairpin curve. We blew right by it and had to turn around and go back. So, you could actually walk up through there. This is coming down off of Little Mountain. We were just right up there where that lone red tree is, right there. And this is the route they came down. It was right through here. So they came down that hill You see the marker there? They came right through here. And almost straight down that thing, I think. I don't know if they kind of went around that way or if they came straight down through here. But, yep, this is where they came down. So we're walking the Donner Trail right now, going the opposite direction they did. But 100 and something years ago, they came through here. Oh, it says California Trail, Mormon Trail, Pony Express. That's all they say. I'm still betting this drainage they caused. But I don't know, they might have come right through there. It went right where our car is. So this is their trail. We're on the trail here. I really think we are. Man, we gotta get across this highway again. This time we got better sight though. So they would have come right through there and must have gone down right over here. Hey.
So did they come from like to the side? They didn't come over that big.
So I'm not really sure where they crossed right here. On the other side of the highway. I mean, this looks kind of favorable.
You don't see no markers?
No, I don't see any markers. I'm just wondering if they didn't just head straight down this thing. Right through there. Because, see, they couldn't, yeah, those wagons couldn't do off-camber stuff. You had to take everything straight on. So they must have gone right through there, that opening there. Right through there. They could have gone right through here. It's hard to tell for swells because of all the grass. There is a path right here. But there's also a pipeline, so that could be what this is the pipeline. But pipeline could be under the trail. So this is the trail here that I'm walking on, which it could be the pipeline too. I'm not real sure. This looks like it could be something they would have done right down through here, but it don't look eroded or anything. Now over there looks eroded. So I'm just wondering if they came down that right there. I don't know. I think it's over there on the other side. I don't think this is it. I think this is the pipeline. Alright, so this is the last camp of the sick party that Brigham Young was in before they entered the Salt Lake. valley. So it was in this area here. So they would have come down, I think, right in here someplace. Right along through in here. Okay, folks, we are on the final leg of this thing. So we're about to leave Brigham Young / camp, and we're going to follow the road heading west through the canyon, which pretty much parallels the trail that the Donners would have took through here. And we're going to come to Last Creek Camp. This was the area where the Donners spent their final night in the Wasatch Mountains. Continue on down, and we're going to come to Donner Hill. And this is where the Donners had finally said, you know, we've had enough of these mountains. They had gotten to this point and found that this canyon was pretty much choked out with rocks and trees and everything else, and they felt like there was no way to get their wagons through there. So what they ended up doing was going over the hill here. Now, when you go to this area, the sign there, which is facing toward this big hill, or I should say is facing that way, but the sign reads, "The hill in front of you." Well, when you're standing in front of this sign, you're actually looking like that. So the hill in front of you, which is hard for me to do on here, is going to be this hill right here. Which that ain't entirely true, because the hill they actually went up is the hill to the right of you. I remember reading somewhere where they said that the hill that they went up now has condominiums on it. So, one, I don't see no condominiums up here. And two, this is pretty steep up through here. And if you're trying to get over here, why would you go up here and then have to come over down, you know? Why not just go over here? So that's my logic. But anyways, this Immigration Canyon was getting choked out. It was getting too constricted. So they just went up over this hill, kind of come down this direction right through here. Now, I've read some people, or a couple of them, that say that they came back straight down this hill right here instead of going over to this ridge and coming down. But this is where they came through at, right here. So when you get to this curve, be sure to slow down, and look to your right, because you're going to see, if you go too fast, you're going to go by the little brown sign for Last Creek Camp. And we had to turn around and go back and find it. Alright, so this area, I guess right in here, someplace, was the last camp for the Donner parties before they got into the Salt Lake Valley. There's a little sign saying last camp. Yeah. Yeah, I think it might have been. I think they were out there in that field. Alright, so we are at Donner Hill. So it's at this point here that the Donners had had enough. They felt like this way this canyon was choked out by outcroppings. And they had had enough. I guess they'd come down through this. And they decided to go over the hill. Now this sign says the hill in front of you, which if they went over that with wagons, I find that impossible. I'm thinking, I think I read somewhere that they went over this hill right here, right in here. I think they went over right in here someplace, because I read that where they went over has now been flattened and they have condominiums over it. So I think it was over this hill right here that they went over. Alright, so right here is, this gives you a good sign of the hill that they came. This is where they came down after getting over the hill. Well, that'll wrap up the Donner series through the Wasatch. Main reason I made this video was just, if anybody ever wanted to go out there and do this, it might give you kind of a heads up on what to expect and kind of get yourself prepared for it. If you ever go out there, just try to keep in mind that a lot of that is unchanged. There is some change out there, but for the most part, the hills, the mountains, the cliff sides are all kind of the same. You'll kind of be seeing the same thing they did. And as always, thanks for watching.